I seriously struggle in the mornings, if you can't already tell. I kind of make a joke about it, but I seriously have a problem because it's super hard for me to get out of bed. I went and visited recently a friend of mine, one of my best friends from high school. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee now. Went and visited him and his wife and his 2 kids in their new home in Nashville. And one day that I was there, the kids had to go to school. And so they were waiting for the bus. And when that bus came, those kids ran onto that bus with so much glee on their faces. Like they were so happy to go to school. And I just remember watching them and thinking, I don't think I ever once, as a kid or an adult, did anything that happily in the morning. I never went to school excited. I always went to school with dread. And I'm talking elementary, junior high, high school, university. I hated every second of it, I think. I don't know how I got through that. I think the only time I was that happy was like Christmas morning when I was 5 years old and I still believed Santa Claus was real. That may have been the only time I was happy, as those kids running onto that bus to go to school in the morning. And I think it was then that I realized I had a serious problem waking up in the morning, because even now, I freaking hate the mornings. It's terrible. And now that I am a cancer survivor, several people have told me, like, once they hear that I'm okay now, they say something like, oh, I bet you're so glad that you're all better now. You can, you really see the world in a new way, and you really go after things now. And multiple people have said something like that to me. And I totally understand where they're coming from. I've heard people say that before I got cancer, and it seems to be just something that people say to maybe make themselves feel better or something, or they think they're being nice. But in reality, since I got cancer, mornings have become a whole lot harder, and my motivation for doing anything is way, way lower. I can't speak for all cancer survivors, but for me, getting cancer just kind of took the meaning out of life, in a way. My motivation for a lot of things is just gone. For example, like making money or worrying about your status in society or something like that. I just don't give a shit anymore. Things like, I don't know, spending time with my friends or whatever is a lot more valuable. So I've spent a lot of time since having cancer just traveling around the world and meeting up with my friends and trying to make more friends. It's not always easy to do, but yeah, like the idea of like making more money just to make more money doesn't do much for me. Whereas before I would have been like, oh, I can make $100,000 a year if I did this, blah, blah, blah. But now I just don't care. I just don't care. So, yeah. People say, don't you feel a whole lot better since you got cancer? And I say, no, I don't. Honestly, I don't. Because I have no drive. For a lot of things, I have no freaking drive.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go
So I've gone 51.5 miles for today, and I just spotted this campground. Like, see, there's people camping here. And as I was crossing the bridge, I thought, dang, this would be a perfect place to camp. And it looks like it's free, first come, first serve. There's only 2 people here at the campsite. So I may just stay here tonight instead of rolling off into the woods like I normally do. So just want to make sure it's free before I do that, and that it's not like $25. I don't see anything saying you have to pay. It just says first come, first serve. All campsites must be occupied nightly. 14-day limit. Campsites cannot be held or reserved. That's pretty much it. Sweet. I love a good free campsite. Whew. This wasn't even on my map or anything. Like, I had no idea this was here. Alright, let's look at the stats for today. 52 miles, basically. Took me almost 5 hours. Maximum speed, 29 miles an hour. Alright, this is home. I'm going to walk over here to the boat ramp, because one thing I do need is water, and so I'm just going to pull it straight from the stream and use my water filter. This guy behind me is watching me. Oh man, my thighs are so sore right now. Like, just pushing up and over those hills all day long. This lake that I was riding along, I was on it all day. Like, that's how long the lake was. 50 miles long. Whew. This is nice right here. This is cool. Yep. I'm gonna drink right out of this. I could even go swimming in here, which I might do later, just to take like a shower. Cool. Anyways, this is it. I'm glad I found this spot, because I wasn't really looking forward to like rolling into the forest somewhere. I mean, if I found a cool spot, it would have been fine. But I did want something with water, and I have almost no toilet paper left, so I was kind of worried about that. But here, there's a bathroom and there's toilet paper in there, so I don't have to worry about running out of toilet paper and having to wipe with a pine cone, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to set up my tent and get some water. I'm thirsty. And then maybe I'll jump in the river really quick. I pitched my tent right here, one, because they have a sign that says you can only pitch your tent on the gravel, not on the grass. It would be nicer to sleep on the grass. So that's the first thing. Second of all, I'm getting blasted by the sun in this direction at the moment, but in the morning the sun's going to be over here, so I'm using these trees to hopefully shade myself from the morning sun so I can sleep in a little bit longer. Hopefully that'll work. So anyways, Okay, dinner time. Tonight I have a can of black bean soup and vegetable sandwiches. So that's what I'm going to be making. So this trip has been going pretty well, and I wasn't sure it would, to be honest. I haven't been bike touring much for the last 2 years or so because I had a massive panic attack right before the pandemic began in late, 2019, I guess, right before 2020. I was flying back from Ukraine. I had this massive panic attack on the airplane. It felt like I was going to die. My legs were weak. I felt like I was going to pass out. My heart was beating fast. I was sweating. I didn't know what was going on. And I was on an airplane at 30,000 feet for 14 hours, and I was having rolling panic attacks where I basically thought I was going to die, and then I thought I'd be okay, and then I'd have another panic attack right afterwards. And for anyone that's ever had a panic attack, it's like the worst thing ever. Those of you maybe who have had one know a lot of people have one panic attack in their life and they spend the rest of their lives dreading having another one. I've had probably at this point thousands, and I think I had probably about 100 on that one flight. So anyways, where did that panic attack come from is the next question. And the short answer is, I don't know. The long answer is, I think it was a side effect of having had cancer. I got cancer 6 years ago, and it's been really tough mentally to recover from that. One of the things that's happened since I got cancer was I've started having panic attacks. About 3 months after I was diagnosed, I had my first panic attack. I was out in the desert, and the world just started spinning. All of a sudden, randomly, I fell to the floor. I got really cold, even though it was like 110 degrees out in the desert. I was like freezing cold. I had to put a blanket over me. And I was dizzy. I couldn't walk. I couldn't see straight. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know it was a panic attack. I thought I was dying. And after that, I started getting smaller panic attacks pretty much any time I would leave the house. I'd go on a little walk around the neighborhood with my mom, and I'd have a panic attack where it felt like I was dizzy and I was about to pass out. I'd go to the supermarket, and it felt like the aisles were going to fall in on me and collapse, or I was going to fall into the aisle and cause a whole bunch of damage. So I'd go into the supermarket really quick, like running, grab the food that I wanted, and then I'd run out as quick as I could. I couldn't just linger in the supermarket. There was a whole bunch of other things, just even like driving. If I was fine driving, but as soon as we'd come to an intersection and I'd stop the car, I would have a panic attack. So there was all these things that started happening to me. I didn't know that I was having panic attacks at first. And frankly, I didn't know that I was having panic attacks until I had that big panic attack on my flight back from Ukraine right before the pandemic. So after I had that attack, I knew that I needed serious help. And so I immediately sought help from any doctor that would see me, basically. I went to a psychiatrist, I went to psychologists, I saw a nutritionist, I went to everybody. And the truth is, none of them really helped me at all. I saw like 5 different therapists because I just thought the ones I'm seeing are not helping me. And after the fifth one, I was just like, you know what? I'm doing better just kind of giving therapy to myself in a way. But basically what happened was I was diagnosed with agoraphobia, which is the fear of leaving home, essentially, which is kind of funny because I've traveled to like 70 countries in the world, and a lot of people who have agoraphobia have trouble leaving their house. I also have trouble leaving my house, just going to take the trash out or to run errands or things like that. I really, really hesitate to do, and that's probably why I have such a hard time waking up in the morning as well, is I really don't like going out into the world and seeing other people. So I was diagnosed with agoraphobia as well as panic disorder, which is essentially where you have multiple panic attacks in a single day. A lot of people just have one panic attack maybe in their lifetime, and they never have another one. That's not the case for me. I sometimes have 15 or more panic attacks in a single day. And when I get a panic attack, like I said, my legs go numb, I feel dizzy, I get really weak, I get tired, like I get instantly fatigued. It feels like I've just run a marathon and I need to lay down and go to sleep. And it feels like I'm gonna die. So these are the two things that I've been dealing with on top of having cancer, is agoraphobia, the fear of leaving your house, and panic attacks, or severe anxiety is probably a better way to understand it. Severe anxiety and panic attacks on top of just going to cancer doctors and worrying about the cancer coming back. So this is why I've not been bike touring, and this is why I was a little afraid that this bike tour might not be possible. I have not gone on a multi-day bike tour like this since I had that major panic attack coming back from Ukraine. So I'm proud of myself for having done this so far, and I'm glad that I haven't had a major panic attack on this trip. I had one on the second day of the trip, but I didn't capture it on camera. I was just riding my bike and all of a sudden my legs went weak and I had to sit down. But since then I haven't had a panic attack, so I'm doing pretty well. And I'm happy about that, obviously. But yeah, it's crazy to think like I've known for a long time that I had a problem leaving the house. I just didn't know it was like a thing, you know? I just figured everybody hates leaving the house. No, that's not the case apparently. And that's what I was saying this morning about my friends and their kids. When I saw them go off to school, I thought, I've never in my life been that happy to do anything, let alone go to school. So that's kind of the beginning of where I realized, like, oh shit, I got a problem. But at the same time, I also am proud of myself because I've known that I've had this problem for a very long time. It's like why I don't have a regular job. And yet, I've done a lot of things, like scary things, like going to foreign countries in Africa and South America and Asia by myself, like going through gang territory and confronting people with guns and all kinds of stuff that, like, if you have agoraphobia, you're just afraid to take out the trash or go to your car or something. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess it's just that, like, it sucks what I've been going through, but I'm also, like, kind of proud of myself for what I've done, you know? I don't know. It just sucks when, like, something like that holds you back from doing what you want to do, because, like, I know that I'm being held back by those things, but it is really hard to change, or it's like I know I need to change and I want to change, but I can't. That's why I sympathize with people that have depression or something. I mean, that's another part of it. I know that since I was diagnosed with cancer, I've been going through depression. So I'm depressed, I'm dizzy with panic attacks, I get weak legs, I get super fatigued. All of those things are bad for bike touring. Like if you have weak legs, you can't ride a bike. If you're super fatigued, you can't ride a bike. If you're dizzy and there's a semi-truck going past you this far away from your head, you know, you can't ride a bike. So it's been very, very tough. The journey to get here has been a long one, and I'm just glad that I've been able to do this. Yeah.